It's OK Football's Luton Town Show. We're here in the heart of Hightown in the Bricklayers Arms. I'm Ollie Kay and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host. I've got Wedge.
Good morning.
I've got Phil.
Hi, guys.
And we're going to be talking about everything Luton Town this week. And, it's a new era as the club have been repeatedly hitting us with on social media, the Bloomfield era. And it got off to a decent start, I say.
We didn't concede.
We look solid.
That's a good start, isn't it? You know,
Even after 3 days, it looks like there's a bit more of an ethos about it. You could see the way that we changed in how we played. It wasn't perfection, but he's only been there for 3 days, with the guys. So, but I thought that we were solid at the back. Preston posed us no problems at all. Nothing. There was no real worry. The only worry I had about them was if there was a set piece, and they had some seriously big old units at the back there. Their whole back line was 6'2" plus. That was the worry I had, but I wasn't worried about them carving us open or anything like that. I thought that we contained them pretty well. But yeah, there were some real positives, I thought. I thought that it was nice to see us try and play out from the back. Like, I know that we still hit the ball long a fair amount, but we tried to find Marv in that little pocket. Whether or not he's the right guy to be in that role moving forward, because Marv shields the ball really well and then he plays it relatively simply. If we had someone a bit more
too
dynamic,
sometimes to the other team.
Yeah, he needs to watch out that square horizontal pass. Yeah. They got cut out a couple of times. The end of the first half was the one, wasn't it? That was a bit sketchy.
Suicidal, wasn't it?
But generally speaking, that is an improvement on what we have been doing. It's generally been up until now, lump it up top.
Yeah.
And hope.
Well, would you say that we got super Matty Bloomfield? He knows exactly what we need. Solid at the back, toothless in attack.
You've been working on that all night. The 4 a.m. wake-up call from your son has done us no good.
I'm delirious for tiredness.
Yeah. I mean, it is, to me, the window, that's where we need to strengthen. We need another striker. Someone that's a bit more dynamic.
Striker, a wide forward, a 10. Maybe a centre back, although we've got a few coming back.
If we have a few coming back, I mean, yeah, it's when you watch our two centre backs, I feel like McGuinness had a good game yesterday. First off the bat,
he was like
very, very
peak
good.
Steve Davis, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was very, very.
He was
good.
very reminiscent of Steve Davis, and I love that.
And we needed him because I think Tom Holmes had probably one of his worst games for us. He just couldn't head the ball in a straight line.
He had a 50p head, didn't he?
head.
Proper 50p head yesterday.
But then that's where, that back four comes in. Like, when one of the defenders might be having a subpar game, you've got that backup of McGuinness where, you can cover. And it happened the other way sometimes when McGuinness got a little bit pulled out. You had Holmes covering round. Yeah. And, when you've got just those three at the back, you're just so spread out. You can't have that ability to think, I have actually got someone who can probably sweep up if I move out of position and things like that. So, I mean, I think the secret, it's not a secret, is it? But to not conceding goals is you've got to have four at the back, and we look so much stronger having those four. And again, it's interesting not seeing us line up that way. There was a lot of, I was watching both Amari Bell and Hashi, and I think it's not seeing them playing that position for so long.
Who would have thought Hashi would be decent as a right back?
Yeah.
You have a Japanese national team right back in your team, and you play him a right back, and he actually looks like a footballer.
I mean, I said before the game, interesting that he's chosen Hashi over Walters.
Yeah.
But people, as I was speaking to them, did say, they'd much rather take Hashi's defensiveness over Walters' attacking.
Yeah, but that's what you need in the Bloomfield system. Because
Yeah.
did you see how far Amari Bell just kept pushing up?
Yeah.
You can imagine Doughty in that role.
Yeah.
Amari Bell doesn't really have the end product that an Alfie Doughty has.
Yeah, I thought that kind of highlighted Amari's possible weakness, is that playing that full left back, not the left centre back.
Could he do the jobs where Holmes was, do you reckon, like as a centre half, the left centre half? I think he could do a job there.
Who, Bell?
Bell.
Yeah, Bell could.
Yeah.
I think Bell could.
He could. I would probably still have a Holmes or a Mengi or a Burke over Bell in the left
On the
centre-back.
left?
No, in the centre half.
Oh, in the
position.
centre
Yeah,
half.
yeah.
So, what, maybe push McGuinness out to the left and then have... I'm just thinking about, well, a miracle happens and we actually have a clean bill of health. Because it just feels like no one's coming back from injury right now.
I don't feel like Holmes gets in that centre back too if Burke's fit. I feel like
Burke's the best defender we have here.
He is, yeah. I
Do
feel
you
like
put Burke in the centre or do you put him as a right?
I put him at centre. If it's my first choice of where to pick Burke, I pick him at right centre back. Yeah, and I feel like Burke sort of goes under the radar, doesn't he? Because he's so good when he's available, and then he disappears for quite some time.
Those are called injuries.
They are, and they
multiple
they are just
multiple
endless injuries. They're poor sod.
He'd be playing in the Premier League if he was injury free. He'd be in the Premier League.
Yeah,
easily.
I agree. I think going back to what you were saying about Hashi, I was sat next to you yesterday, Wedge.
Okay, just wait. So when Hashi first signed for us, you're not getting off the hook that easily, Phil. So
no. I was gonna admit about my mindset.
Straight, go on. Look down the barrel.
I don't think that Hashi is that good, but yesterday the whole new era type thing. I sat there next to you, and hopefully he'll back me up. He's probably going to throw me under here, but I said it's going to be a new start. Hashi's going to have a good game today.
Yeah,
and I thought he was pretty good. I got frustrated 65 to 70 minutes in when I was like, pass the ball forward. Just pass the ball forward, because there was a couple of occasions where we'd loaded our right-hand side with a couple of players, and rather than giving it, and to be fair, he's probably doing exactly what he's told. Like, he's probably to retain possession, turn it over, make them work. So I get it. I do get that that's the ethos. But in the moment where you're like, something needs to happen, like it's 0-0, you're getting a little bit more angsty. You're like, I want this goal. I want Bloomfield's era to start well. I was like, just please take a risk. And he's so risk averse that I think that's why he works in the back four, because he's going to be solidly there. So yeah, I probably have been a little bit harsh on him in the past, but I also feel like I've watched him enough times to think actually you're not as...
He's been here a year now, hasn't he?
He has been here a year, and I feel sorry for him because a lot of times he's filling in a hole where he probably wouldn't prefer to be. But I thought he had a good game yesterday. Long story short, he had a good game.
There were a
yesterday.
lot of good performances. As I said, toothless in attack. I feel with those 3 days that Matt Bloomfield's had to work with the players, the most important thing was sorting out the middle of the park and the defence. First, you got to be hard to score against. And yes, everyone's been saying, but Preston were the worst team that's been at Kenilworth Road this year.
No, Stoke were the worst team that's been to Kenilworth Road.
I don't think Preston was so bad. I think
Watford.
Watford, I think that was an off day.
That was an off day, yeah.
Like we negated all of Preston's threats purely by having Marv actually playing as a defensive midfielder rather than having him playing as an 8 box to box, which is absolutely ludicrous. Like, people have been saying, Marv's lost he's got no knees left. Well, he looked like he had no knees left when he was playing under Edwards and was being told, you got to be the furthest man forward, press. Everything from yesterday screams to me that it's all been simplified. Stick to position. Don't run around like a headless chicken. Even Krause had a good game.
I thought Krause did.
That ball he put across. The German Alan Campbell.
Having the two centre halves and the 2 CDMs, knowing that Nakamba's gonna be the one which is gonna sit back, it gives Krause that ability to go forward. And there was a couple of times the first 20-25 minutes he was making those runs. Morris was dropping in a little bit, but by our striker dropping in a bit, we've got the midfielders who are then moving forward and still giving you opportunities when you are attacking. I feel we did kind of run out of ideas a little bit. We ended up playing to Preston's level. We were, hoofing the ball long a lot, I think. After the first 20-25 minutes when we were playing one touch, 1s and 2s on the wings and things and creating a few crosses, the second half I didn't see any of that. But it's the first game only 3 days after Bloomfield's come in, so those things, seeing those things starting to form is positive. But yeah, it shows where we need to strengthen in the transfer window, and we need that creativity. I mean, I love Jordan Clark. I was man of the match. You know,
Number 8, Jordan Clark.
Number 8, Jordan.
What was the guy on the PA?
He was like a mayor yesterday, wasn't he?
He was, wasn't he?
Like when we did the subs and there was just silence.
Yeah.
And it must have been, he must have nipped off for a piss or something because he wasn't expecting subs for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So they came in the 75th
what's this?
minute. It's like, just imagine him running from the press room toilet. Oh my God, they've made a sub. It's not time. It's not time. And then, and then he got all the numbers wrong. He didn't know who Zach Nelson was. Like, was that his first day on the job or something? It
The
sounds
worst
like
thing is it wasn't his first day on the job. He's got a very familiar voice. He just had a mare, didn't he? He had an absolute mare yesterday.
Number 8, Jordan Clark.
But and I agree with you. I think throughout the course of the season, there's been some harsh criticism on Jordan Clark that I felt yesterday was another one of those days where I've come home, I've had a look at various different people's opinions on various different platforms, and he gets a bad rap. Now, I felt like he was the only one, I would argue, yesterday that had any sort of real attacking intent consistently, other than Izzy Jones in the first half.
Yeah.
Izzy Jones in the first half was fantastic.
Do you think the subs were a bit too late? Because they were triple sub. I think it was the right thing to do. I think Moses needed a bit more time because he looked
like he couldn't be bothered.
Well,
when did they come on? 75?
75th minute.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting changes in 60, 65.
Yeah, and we couldn't get the ball up at that point.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
But I feel Moses could be one. In this window, he could get moved on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't cry if he moved on.
No, I wouldn't.
He's not had the impact that I thought he might. But then he's been put as right or left wing back.
He's been playing anywhere on the right, whatever system.
This is the position he should be playing, but I feel he should have
been
brought on when we were
Plymouth when he first played.
Oh yeah, and he looked fantastic.
He played further forward.
Well, we were here, weren't we?
And he looked all right. I thought, this is a good sign of things to come. And then all of a sudden, he gets played out of position, and
it could work. But at that point, we were just launching balls up to him, and he couldn't win anything in the air. He couldn't get off the ground.
Yeah. But I thought that Clark was the one person that was going to stitch things together in the attacking half yesterday. I thought
he showed his class.
Yeah, I thought he was very, very good, and
people had an extra yard of pace where when he beats his man, he could just get that separation. It'd be brilliant, but. You know, technically his feet.
He spins men for fun, doesn't he? And
it's that low centre of gravity.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But like I say, it is getting that final piece to fit. It's getting that final pass. It's making that final shot stick. I mean, some people were saying, you can look good if you take all the set pieces. His set pieces weren't that great. No. But I thought that his actual play was good.
He had one free kick.
Yeah, one free kick, and he took some corners that weren't.
He went the wrong side of the wall, to be honest. I think he went to the side.
I think he was trying to sell the keeper, wasn't he? He was trying to,
especially with the ball on the right side of the goal.
Yeah, it was too perfect because the wall wasn't set up great.
Yeah,
but the wall's 6'6", isn't it? I mean,
yeah, they were all absolute monsters.
They go around the side, not over the top.
Yeah. But I thought that Brown was left out to dry.
He had moments.
Yeah, I just feel like he's not a winger. And I feel sorry for him because I want Brown in the team. I'll be honest with you. I feel like he's got that little bit of extra pace. He didn't look like he was as pacey yesterday against a couple of their defenders, but when he's fresh, he's a bit more dynamic, I would argue, than the likes of Morris. But I don't think he's going to start ahead of Morris or Adebayo up front as the centre one.
Well,
so they're trying to sort of shoehorn him in the team.
Do you think Morris had a good game yesterday? That is one that split decisions. He should have thrown himself at Krause's ball across.
I think with Morris, it was going to be a tough game for him because the two centre halves are
massive.
Monsters.
Stories are right. Dickhead, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Going through the back of Jacob Brown and then feigning injury for 2 minutes. Talking about injuries, I want to get this off.
He got booked for that.
No,
he didn't get booked.
He did get booked in the game.
I don't know if he got booked for that. He could have had 4 yellows.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah.
I want to pick on the referee here because talking about injuries and stuff.
Oh,
you think the ref was bad?
Watch him go. Awful. I was next to him yesterday. Go on,
the free kick that Preston got right on the edge of our box.
Yeah.
Thank
God that wasn't a pen.
Yeah, I think Holmes got booked for it.
Yeah.
Physio comes on.
Oh, yeah, the player should have gone off, right?
And the ref was... I'm going to pick on our players here as well. That player has to go off, right?
Were you saying the players should have told
The player
ref,
that's received treatment.
Yeah, the
Has
players
to go
received
off.
treatment.
Yeah.
The physio's gone off. He stayed on. The referee is completely oblivious to it. Why aren't our players saying to the ref, why is it, get him off, get him off? And, that means that they've got all their players on the pitch for that free kick. And
Imagine
honestly,
if they'd scored from that.
Exactly.
And
that.
it was a really dangerous.
It's such a dangerous position, and I don't know how the ref or the linesman or the fourth official, there's enough people to realise that he's not on the sideline.
Yeah.
Unless there has been a rule change where you get a dangerous free kick and the player can stay on, which I don't think it has, because then 5 minutes later he did send someone to the side who received treatment. So the ref there is, I thought he would... He didn't like giving corners.
He didn't. No, he did not. He would give a goal kick.
Goal
If
kick.
there was any
Anything.
50-50, it was a goal kick.
And
For the linesmen were terrible.
Yeah.
The ref could have done it by himself, but that's a Premier League ref. That's Tim Robinson.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw him line up and I was like, oh no.
I say I'd rather have Tony Robinson than Tim Robinson, to be
I've got a
honest.
cunning plan, actually.
Yeah, he was pretty poor, wasn't he?
I thought he was, but I think
It's one of those things. I think I came away from the game yesterday and I thought, right, he's had 3 days. There was improvements on the pitch. You could see that. You could see that there was improvements, and the fact we kept a clean sheet was wonderful. If we can keep a clean sheet, even if it's another 0-0, people won't like me saying this, but even if it's another 0-0 against Oxford,
Stop the rot away.
Stop the rot away. Oxford are playing well. Gary Orao has got them playing really, really well, and they won 1-0 yesterday against Blackburn. They're not
We'll
going to be
talk about
easy.
that in Champ Chat. Like that Brannigan free kick was insane.
Slightly deflected, but it was good.
Oh, I didn't see the deflection.
Yeah, don't give him too much credit.
Okay.
We'll need confidence, Ollie.
Okay.
it was a lucky strike. We're going to turn over Oxford. But we need, if we can get something out of Oxford, even if it's a 0-0 draw, and like I say, keep the points sort of rolling in, and then we go at it with a bit more time for Matt to get his ethos
point
across.
away from home to Oxford will probably be more confidence boosting than if we'd have won yesterday, I think. It's just something which we can't seem to get to. You get that, you think it's just such a weight lifted, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you can go again at home.
And we know we can beat Millwall because they're the only side we've beaten away from home this year.
Yeah.
So we know we can do
Millwall
that.
are on a proper downward slide
They're-
right now.
they are,
It's not
But-
looking good for them.
You said off air how glad you were when you drove past the Brash this morning that they were out there training, and Matt said in his interview that we've got a game on Tuesday at Oxford. We'll be in training tomorrow.
The whole
Isn't that a breath of
time-
fresh air? You're like,
It
yes,
is.
good.
And I'm really happy. I was really happy when I saw them out there, but then I got really angry, and I sent you a voice note. Don't think you've heard it yet.
I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah,
said
have
it
a
wasn't
listen
important.
to it. No, it wasn't important, but I was really happy that the players are out. And then an overwhelming sense of anger came over me. So I was like, we've been doing this like the whole season. Why haven't they been out there every Sunday morning? Like after a disappointing defeat, they should have been in crack of dawn every single Sunday to do extra work. Rob was too nice.
I think I said
He
it.
let them get away with it.
We've mentioned this before, haven't we? And I said about John Still wouldn't have had that. No way in a million years. If you've made him look like a mug as a manager, then I'm going to make you look like a mug, and you're going to work.
I reckon it could be because Matt's local. He's localish to here. Whereas Rob lived up in Birmingham, so he's like, well, if I'm not going to be there, I guess you guys don't have to be there, do you? The players, like after some of the performances they put in, they should have come in for extra work. Although, to be honest, like Rob's tactics and all that, we should draw a line under it. But we find ourselves second bottom in the table now.
Yeah,
And I'm not. If we'd kept Rob Edwards, we were going down. I feel now under Matt Bloomfield, we have a fighting chance of staying up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that again, I mentioned that I spoke to a couple of friends yesterday with my sort of opinions about how it went yesterday, and I don't want to cause a pile on. I don't want to be seen as like a negative influence, but there's a lot to be said for if everything went wrong with the league yesterday in terms of how Luton got a point, but they plummeted to 23rd. We're 23rd in the league
because of our goal difference.
Difference. But the point, and it's really tight, right? It is really tight. But our failure to act as a board, as a club, on Rob Edwards and to see through the guise of him being a nice guy and he's got mental health problems, this, that, or the other, which are, like I say, I don't want to go further into that. But the point I'm trying to make is, and we've largely agreed with it as a fan base, is that
well, now
it should have been, now that with hindsight, it's great. 3 months ago, it should have been.
And 3 months ago, Bloomfield's not even on the market, is he?
I don't think so. I don't think we would have been looking at Matt.
I think we would have been looking at him because he had a strong start. Like 3 months ago, I mentioned it on this pod. I think he just won his 10th consecutive game, and I mentioned it. And I said that is how you change your philosophy, because I was going off on one about Rob Edwards and how he said at the beginning of the season, I want to change the philosophy, and I think it must have been around early November, I reckon.
Right.
And I said, look at Matt Bloomfield at Wickham. He's just won his 10th game in a row. That is how you change your philosophy. That is how you turn around a team. So his stock would have been high. And, you know, Gary said in his multiple press conferences, they had 1,000 data points for like a bunch of managers worldwide. So he would have been on the radar, without doubt.
Yeah, he said that.
But we would have gone for Rowett.
He said that they've got a 3-year history of people. And, you know, Bloomfield's not been
He's had 2
managing
years.
3 years.
Yeah, well,
so.
he turned it around at Colchester.
Colchester,
I knew
yeah.
began with C. And he's sort of pivoted Wickham to a different style. But I'm impressed by how he's imposed his.
I'm really hopeful.
philosophy.
I'm really hopeful, and
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I
There's
had
19 games.
I have my opinions about it, and I think that I would, with how precarious the situation is, I think I would have preferred someone that had a bit more experience at this level. But sod it. Let's get behind him and go for it, because what I saw yesterday was a solid start, solid foundation.
But even someone with experience at this level, like you get a Steve Cooper, you get a Gary O'Neill, get Sam Allardyce, get any of those. There's no guarantee that they are going to keep you up.
No, that's
There's
true.
absolutely no guarantee.
That's
so
true.
it's good to have the fresh face. He's got a 3.5-year contract. The signs are positive, but
He knows how to deal with League One.
This is fully on the boards. Yeah, he's got the League One experience, but we cannot go to League One because we will lose every asset that we have at a fraction of the cost. We need to stay up and then build again next year with a manager who's actually tactically competent. And this is not hindsight talking about Rob Edwards. I will say Rob is a lovely guy. I've made my feelings very clear on him. I think he is completely incompetent as a manager. Look at his Forest Green team. They were 18 points clear. They went up on goal difference. Watford, they figured him out pretty quickly. And he inherited a team that were together and on the up. He put his stamp on it. And then we won 2 games in the whole of 2024, pretty much, in the Premier League. And we looked terrible. This is a manager that comes in with tactical competence, and after 3 days, you can see that.
I don't know what to say to that, Ollie.
Yeah,
You've got in quite
Yeah,
hard
and
there.
now
in this new era that we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
It was about it. Ultimately, you've ended up by paying a compliment to who we've employed. So I get that. I get that.
Yeah,
And
he looks mustard.
It's down to the board now over the next 2 weeks.
It's on the board
To back it, they've
Yeah.
got to back him.
Yeah,
They've got
And
to.
you know, listen closely to Bloomfield, what he wants to do,
Yeah.
and bring in players
Kone.
of quality.
my little Kone.
Yeah.
To keep us up, basically.
Yes.
Because you look at the team, and there's a good starting 11 there, and I think the rest of our best of players are out injured. But when you look to the bench, it's a drop off in quality, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we need to invest. And if at the end of the season we've brought 2-3 players in and they've really helped us stay up, then I'll give the board absolute credit. But they need to ensure that we are staying up.
There's a lot riding on them.
There's a lot
right
riding
now.
on it
Yeah.
because they've made a huge mistake by waiting this long. So
Yeah.
I thought that sort of coming towards a positive note. I know that we said that he faded out in the second half, but seeing in the flesh, Izzy Jones, I thought that he was fantastic in the first half. Like he's got moments in him where you think he's a proper bums off seats sort of player, and he'll make a couple of fullbacks look like complete pillocks.
He did.
First
half, there was a big diagonal out to him, and his first touch was inside.
But
he just couldn't get that ball over to
the pass didn't end up well.
But those little things, they're not going to come off every single time, but that comes off.
Yeah.
Once, twice during the game, and you get a goal out of it.
Even in the first minute, he wasn't through on goal. There was a defender in front of him, but he was 1-on-1 in the first sort of 30 seconds, and you kind of think, God, this guy's got something. So if we can get another couple of people to complement him.
Circling back to that, obviously we were saying about Jacob Brown out on the left. In this formation, do you think that left winger is to Heath Chong's to lose? Because I think in that position that he can just focus on attacking, and that's where Chong is best.
Tahith Chong needs to show it.
Yeah,
he needs to show it.
Yeah. How long is he likely out for?
Who knows? Who knows? Hopefully it's an innocuous one, but we need him back because we need those options.
Yeah.
And then we were saying, where does Doughty
come into?
Is he a left back?
He's got to play left back. He has to play exactly where Amari Bell was, because Amari Bell was getting in really advanced positions. It's not really a defensive role, that left back. And that was shown with Wickham's left back, who leads for assists. Essentially, that's where the creativity comes from, but there's also about having creativity elsewhere on the pitch, like from the front three.
Yeah.
But there's work to be done with the front three.
Yeah, there's definitely work to be done. But like I say, I think if we're
proactive in the market, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a front four, which
Corley Woodrow came on late on, didn't he? In the
middle of midfield, yeah.
Yeah. I personally, I would have preferred Liam Walsh coming on there, because I felt he would have probably demanded the ball a bit more.
Yeah, someone playing in the position he should have played in.
Forward thinking, isn't it? But
I wonder if Corley's got a clause in his contract or something like that. He has to play.
Yeah, he has to.
I just don't get it. Anyway, I won't be a bitch.
Maybe Corley will leave this window. I don't see him being a Bloomfield player, to be honest. He's got no pace.
No.
I don't really know what he offers, but who's going to take him? That's
this is it. I'm guessing he's on.
There's a rumours about, was it Wrexham?
Yeah.
And that's not really come to fruition yet, has it? So
I don't know. He could do a job in League One.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's where the level of a lot of our players have gone. People say, Alan Campbell's gone and this, that, and the other, but they've all gone to League One. It's not like any Championship clubs have come in for our players, which kind of tells you something, doesn't it? Obviously, there's rumours that Alan Campbell's going back up to Scotland. Fair enough, I think.
Well, that's like National League level.
Yeah. And Joe Taylor's gone to League One, and
scored.
Luke Berry's gone to League One, and it's the level of where a lot of our players are, I think.
Yeah, well, I wonder what happened with the rumour about Elijah Adebayo going to Everton. Like, Dyche was an admirer.
Yeah.
Like, don't think that's going to happen anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Either way, to sort of sum it up, yesterday was a good foundation. I feel like it was really nice to see it live, like what Bloomfield's about and what he's trying to start. And it is just what we said earlier on in the week. It's too early to say anything other. We just have to keep getting behind him and put our trust in him and hope that the board back him and roll on to hopefully a clean sheet against Oxford and back at the Kenny on Saturday.
It's a shame we've got a game midweek, I think, because I think he could have done with having a whole week of trying to implement, but we need less games that we can lose at the moment.
The Plymouth game has been postponed because Plymouth made it through. So essentially it's Oxford, Millwall, Sheffield Wednesday, week off. And I think that week off is going to be vital for us. So get a proper good week of work into the players, and then we attack. And I think the run of games after that, Sunderland, Sheffield United, Watford, Pompey, Burnley.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, but you know what? I think after a good week of work and the window being closed, I reckon we could be in a solid shape.
21st.
No, we'll be in solid shape to attack the second half of the season. Positivity, Wedge. Positivity.
You say the second half of the season, after those games, we're getting into
the
last quarter,
games.
aren't we?
Yeah.
Really?
Last
third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming around quick, isn't it?
Let's say, how's the Sluga 6 getting on?
Oh yeah, Sluga 6. Yeah. So sorry, forgot about that. Yeah.
We don't talk about the Sluga 6.
Yeah, well, we're propping
You
up
two
the
don't.
bottom,
Yeah,
aren't
you
we?
two.
Yeah.
You two prop up the table on 100 points. We've finally all reached 3 figures. You're exactly on 100 points.
Lovely.
Matt, so I don't understand how Matt does so well, man. Like, for a guy that knows nothing about football, he does really well in the prediction. Only joking, Matt. Love you, mate. But Matt got 7 points this week. Hit one on the head. But myself and Matt were the ones that predicted a draw yesterday for Luton. And
what did you go for, Ollie?
I went 4-1.
you did.
4-1.
You were very optimistic.
I for one was very optimistic.
Yeah, very optimistic.
Yeah. I didn't really anticipate the fact that it would take maybe a week or two for the Bloomfield era to properly bed in.
Yeah.
So there's a positivity.
So I'm looking forward to receiving your prediction for the Oxford game away midweek. I'm guessing you're going for a 5-0 away win.
10-0.
Lovely stuff.
Stop the
Lovely
rot.
stuff. But yeah, we had Ollie Hargreaves from the Butter Pie pod last week. He did nowhere near as well as he did last time he was on. He got a solitary point, but he beat us all last time.
Yeah.
So he did well last time, but not this week. So yeah, keep an eye out on the socials. I'll pop up my wonderful graphics up with our with the predictions, and keep an eye on it. It's good fun.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably a good time to wrap this pod up.
Yeah.
Unless you want to interrupt the outro, Wedge. I don't know.
You're good at
Any
that.
I
pressing
can interrupt
thoughts?
the outro. Yeah, so Oxford away. Same team? Same starters? Or do you think he's
Oh,
going to
no
try
idea.
and change things up to...
I mean, maybe Nelson gets a shout with Brown. Maybe Brown goes to the other side. Oh, no,
He's
you
not going
need
to drop Jones.
Yeah, maybe Elijah starts. Maybe Brown starts up top and Zach Nelson comes in on the left wing. Maybe. I don't know. Fortunately, it's not my headache to have.
I feel like there's a lot of players that would have played in that game yesterday and thought, "Yep, I'm playing the next game."
Bloomfield did say, I found out a lot about the players. And that was very telling.
Yeah. I feel like that centre midfield three of Marv, Krause and Clark did themselves a lot of favours. I thought that they all had good games. And I didn't even mention Krause. Krause I thought had a good game. I've been quite critical of him, but I thought he had a really good game. For me, where the options lie in terms of what he wants to do, if we've just seen the shape in what he wants to do, that's fine. I feel like the options might be a case of he might put Elijah up front instead of Morris, because I feel like his press is better. I feel like Morris is better with the physicality stuff and making the ball stick to him a bit better. But I feel like Adebayo's press is good. And it might be a case of like say that Zach Nelson gets the nod ahead of Brown. I would probably suggest rather than Jones dropping out. But that's where I can see a bit of difference. But again, we're talking about such a quick, tight turnaround. Yeah. He might want to see other players. He might. We have to accept that.
It's sort of like a pre-season because the window's open. First couple of days in the job, it's a pre-season, and these are the, I don't want to say easier games, but these aren't the heavy hitters of the division. So, but we should wrap this up. That's all from us this week. As always, a big thank you to our host, the Bricklayers Arms. Great selection of beers on tap. I'm having a non-alcoholic beer. Yeah, you're having a non-alcoholic beer. Guinness Zero
Guinness.
And Wedge is having a coffee they brought from home.
Yeah, it's cold.
And it's cold coffee. Oh, if you got it from here, it'd be warm, wouldn't it?
It's warm. It's in the thermos.
Oh yeah,
Which leaks.
I think you meant it's actually cold, and it is really actually quite cold.
Yeah, we've braved it this week. As always, a big thank you to our audio partners, Black Star Amplification and Carry On, for all the toys that you see on the table. And big shout out to the record shop in Amersham, wherever you are in the UK. Make sure you head on down to the record shop, get your vinyl, get your CDs, get your guitars. Mention the OK Football Show and you'll get a cheeky little discount. But as always,
come on, you hatters.
Come on, you hatters.